Healthy open relationships in a broad sense are relationships where it's mutually agreed upon that one or both partners can have sex and sometimes more with people outside of the relationship. That's how I see it, but you have to define it for yourselves. Open relationships to me should not be confused with polyamory, even though that could be considered a type of open relationship. Because that's where, and I've definitely worked with thruples and other polyamorous equations. And as I view them and have read and all that, it's really where partners have sex or committed relationships with more than one person at a time. And so the couples I work with who are polyamorous are in a committed relationship, but also have other committed relationships outside of this kind of what you might consider the main relationship. And there's different words used for that. And I have friends who are in polyamorous relationships. Again, that's what I've seen the most. When I think of swinging couples, these are couples who have sex with other partners where both people in a couple are generally involved. As a matter of fact, a lot of swingers parties don't even allow singles to come. It's you've got to be in a couple to come. You have to come with, I think that's really most of them. So sometimes this can mean, though, that maybe a husband is watching a wife having sex with another person, or it could be, a committed couple going to a party and having sex with other people, again, usually within the confines of the party or the date or the whatever. And again, with swingers, these are most often committed couples having sex with other committed couples in a defined way, in a box kind of thing. And so and you can comment below if you're a swinger or polyamorous or anything else. And again, please remember, I'm not an expert, but this is what I have seen in my life, my almost 60 years of life, because I've been in a lot of different situations. While swingers tend to keep their outside relationships to the realm of sex with other established couples, and polyamory is all about having multiple committed romantic partners, open relationships, as I'm going to just talk about them, are generally ones where partners can have sex with other people in a casual but non-committed way. Does that all work? Are we all there with the definitions? I know there's a lot of stuff going on. So I did a quick little thing. I'm like, how many people are in these kind of relationships? I was trying to track that down. And I'm just going to say in America, I started to do all the countries and I was like, I'm going to make myself crazy. I know people are listening from all around the world and I thank you. So excuse my Americanism here, but I'm just going to talk about the United States for a second. And because there was a big poll, and it was recently in the last few years, of there was more than 23,000 Americans that they polled. And what they found was that and then when I looked at other research, it was very similar. That's why I'm just going to kind of go with this one so we don't spend so much time on this. 25% of Americans said they would be interested in having an open relationship. So among singles, 32% of men and 19% of women said they'd be interested in a non-monogamous relationship. Again, it's generally often men who are more interested, but not by that much, but definitely more. So among married couples, so the last one I gave you was singles, among married couples, 30% of men and 21% of women would be interested in an open relationship. And here's where I thought it got really interesting. A lot of this depended on age. Millennials are the top. Gen Y, you guys are the top for this. 41% of millennials would be interested. 29% of Gen Z were interested. 23% of Gen X, and only 12% of baby boomers. So I think we're really looking at how society has opened up. So, but I think we've really seen, right, how we define relationships, how we define gender, how we define sexuality, all those things have really shifted. And I love that. So 46% of the participants who identified as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or other say that they're interested in having an open relationship. So that's what's really interesting to me. It seems that people who are identifying other than heterosexual or straight, there's only 22% of heterosexual or straight people were. So you really see, as people are open to their own sexuality, they're open to a different way of seeing themselves in relationships. And I think I love anything that's growing and thinking and expanding. I'm all for it. So, and again, it doesn't have to be all for it, in your own life, but this idea that there's not a right or a wrong way to do it. And whenever you're in that, to me, you're on the wrong side of history and on the wrong side of loving people for who they are and how they interact in the world. So, and if you don't like that, you should not be following me. I just need to say that right now. I'm fine if you hate all that and you're like, not for me. I'm very open about my stances about things, and I do that on purpose because you should know who is coming at you with my own bent on things, my own thinking about things. So I certainly support heterosexual relationships and, straight couple. I openly support that every lifestyle. That's the thing. I just don't like it when people decide that one way is right. I'm not a fan.